All right guys, welcome back to the channel again. And the other weekend that we went out to the sandbar, that was the last time, I think it was last Saturday. And when we took off at the channel there at Tavernier Creek, we couldn't get on plane fast enough. It was a little sluggish and it felt like it had no power. And I mentioned that on this video, I'm going to tell you one of the things that we did wrong, that so that you won't do it as well. And one of those things is coming up next, so stay tuned. All right guys, we just received the parts that we were waiting for the boat. Since our last video, we had problems with our boat getting on plane, and here's the item that is causing that issue, and it's this right here, the cap and rotor. I'm going to get it all replaced. And the difference from the last one that I installed one like 6 months ago, to be generous, and we're getting problems with the electrical system again, where the all the contacts inside here, all these contacts are getting corroded. And what we were using is the regular auto parts one. Is exactly the same one, but the difference is that all the contacts on this one are made of brass. The other ones, they look like they're some kind of metal, like aluminum, and they get corroded really quickly and don't last at all. And we spent like $80 something for the one that we bought at the auto parts. And the difference in price is not a whole lot. This set right here cost us like $114 on Amazon, and I think this is the solution, and we should have something that's going to last way longer than the ones we get for the from the auto parts. So stay tuned, and we're going to have the install coming up and see how that works out. Peace. All right, here we are at the boat, and here is one of the biggest thing that we did wrong. Last time we changed the cap and rotor. Okay, the mistake that we made was that we bought a cap and rotor from a auto parts like Napa, and I'm not saying they're bad parts, they're very good parts, and the price is good and everything, but the application is for a car. And the contacts on there are different than the contacts on the one that QuickSilver does, which is direct fit for the Mercruiser and Mercury products. So here we go, we're going to do the installation, and then we'll do a test run, and hopefully everything should be resolved. Just stay tuned. All right guys, on this video I'm not going to go over doing the replacement of the cap and rotor completely, because I already have a video that I already posted a while back, and you'll see it here on the description, and you can click on that and see the detail for the removal and change of the cap and rotor. But for now, we're just going to do a fast one, just to change everything, run it, and then see how it works. Okay, here's the difference from the one that I bought last to this one. You can see that there, it's gold looking, it's a brass fitting. All the contacts are brass, and that's going to help the corrosion not to come out that fast like it did on the last one. So this one should last way longer, and we're going to take a date on that and give you an update a year from now and see how it's going. But according to many people, and I've had some subscribers as well tell me to use the brass ones, and now I know why. And that was a big mistake, buying the Napa one when you could get this one for just a little bit more and get the right one the first time. All right, and here is the cap and rotor right under this here. We're going to take everything off, replace this here with the brand new one, and I'll show you that right now. All right, we're done installing the new one, and I gotta show you this here. And this is exactly the problem that happens when you use aftermarket products. If you see it right there, all those contacts, they're all corroded, especially the center one here, but all of them, all the way around, all corroded completely. And that's the reason why the engine gets a little sluggish and you can't get on plane, is because not enough spark is going through to make that engine work properly. So that's my message today here. Use good products, good factory recommended products. This one here is QuickSilver. It's made for Mercruiser and Mercury, and it costs just slightly a little bit more than the aftermarket. The aftermarket approximately $80 something. This one here with the set, it comes for $114, and I'll leave the link in the description so you can see it there, and you could buy it whenever you need it. But you can't use any other type of parts. Don't use aftermarket parts or any Chinese made parts or anything that you could find on Amazon. Get the true QuickSilver brand for something like this. Now, there's other things you can use aftermarket stuff. Probably your alternator. There's other parts that you could probably use aftermarket, but when it has to do with electrical, gasoline, fuel, all that kind of stuff, I do not recommend using aftermarket parts. Use original QuickSilver parts. Don't use anything else. And that's the thing that we did wrong, and we'll never do it again. So there you go. Hope this helps. All right, another little thing here I just want to mention. Once you put everything back together, on that video it says the same thing, but I can't stress that enough. Make sure all your connections, all these wires, all right, are pushed in completely to the max. You can't leave them loose, because then you'll have a misfire somewhere and it's not going to work properly either. So make sure all these wires are pushed in all the way in. All right, another little thing I had to do once I took off the rotor cap off, I found that it was a little bit rusted inside there on all metal parts. Of course, if all the contacts are getting corroded, obviously it's humid in there, so all metal parts are going to get a little rust on it. So what I do is I get a little towel, spray a little bit of corrosion block on it, and wipe it down with the corrosion block. You don't want to put excessive in there, but just enough to coat all the surfaces. And what this does, it eats up that rust and it doesn't let it progress anymore from there. So that's a good thing to do. And now here's the other places that I use it at. Right there, there's a little bit of rust there, so I'll do the same thing here too. And there's a little bit there on that bolt. So every time I come in here, if I see any rust, I'll wipe it down with the corrosion block. That's something everybody should be doing, so your engine won't go out of hand and get all corroded everywhere. And this is something you must do, especially if you're at saltwater conditions like we have here. All right, here's just a little update on this container. Here is the gear lube oil container, is a reservoir. And since we did the last repairs, we needed to check it just to make sure that the oil level is not going down a lot like it used to. It looks like it's good. It went down slightly. You can see this part right here, and I think the mark is right here. So there's probably a 1/4 inch difference. So that means that anything that went in there probably is just a little missing in the lines. since we replaced in the lines and all that. They had to fill up again, so it just goes down slightly, but it hasn't gone down any further than that. I've been out on the boat like about 3 times afterwards, and it's maintained there. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to fill it up to the fill line, and just to keep it where it's supposed to be. But so far so good, everything's looking good. This is just a little update on that gear lube reservoir. I think that looks good now. It's right on the line. And that's basically it. Put the cap back on. And this cap here, never over tighten it, because it's going to be really difficult to take off next time. So you just all the way down, and then just a little bit more, and that's it. Because if you tighten it too much, it's going to be really difficult to take off later on in the future. Alright, since we're already here doing other things here, we're going to go ahead and check the oil just to make sure everything is okay. And you should check that once in a while, all the time. You can see it there. It's nice and clean. It still looks like honey. The level is perfect. It hasn't even moved since I checked it last time. So that's awesome right there. Alright, here is my battery meter. I have it on Bluetooth, so I can check the batteries every time I come to the boat. Is check the batteries, and I can check both batteries at the same time. So all I have to do is click here, go to devices, and right there gives me both batteries at the same time. Now I'm a little bit far away from the Bluetooth, so this one here is not hooking on, but they both says 100%, so we know everything is good. This is a good thing to have. You'll have these items on the description if you want one. It's going to be really convenient to check your batteries. And the good thing I have here is that I have a solar panel right up there, and I would not go out anywhere without a solar panel, because no matter what you do, those batteries are always getting charged up with the solar panel. Alright, so we're all done here. We're getting ready to go ahead and start it up, make sure everything's working fine before we take it out on the water. Alright guys, well there you have it. This is a lesson learned for me, and before it happens to you, this message here will help you not go through what I went through using inferior parts, or not inferior, but not the correct parts for the engine. And like I said earlier, there's some parts that you can probably substitute, but there's some parts like electrical, fuel, and all that, you have to use original Mercruiser, Mercury, QuickSilver parts.
I love this boat.
Highly recommend it. Hope this video helps, and thank you so much for watching. And so far, it just started perfectly with no problems. We're just getting ready to go to the sandbar, and we'll bring that one on the next video. So thank you so much for watching.
I love boat ownership.
Now is a great time to like and subscribe. All you have to do is click on the subscribe button below. It's free, and you'll be part of the Keys Boating Channel family. Thanks so much for your support.